too, Mr.
Pretty.
World War I is not the original translation because there was another one here that was smaller. But the single part.
From these mountains, the water is spraying and throughout the whole country to the sea, the Atlantic Ocean, that is in that way. So the water flows back to Portugal. Portugal is another country different to Spain, that is there. Okay? So on that side, we have the ocean.
It belongs to the artifacts from the 10th century. Composed of 3 rooms that, well, you know, like the Roman baths, the warm and the cold one, Caldarium, Tepidarium, Liquidarium, these 3 rooms, but the ruins from the 10th century. And now from here we will keep driving in that direction because we're going to stop next to Alcantara Bridge. Alcantara Bridge, see that amazing bridge, and from there we will keep driving up to the center near the Madrid, and we will start walking through near the main square. Because this bridge was destroyed and changed. And the architect, in charge of the reconstruction of the bridge, when the bridge was almost finished, but unfinished yet, he knew because the bishop of Toledo was the person who paid the architect of this record factory. So, as that time, as the bridge wasn't finished, there was a big wooden scaffolding supporting the stones of the bridge. And the architect was so worried that he couldn't sleep at night. He couldn't eat at home. So, who was the first person who knew the problem with the bridge? The architect's wife. Because she did something happened here, or something weird. So she finally discovered what happened. And the architect's wife, who was a really brave woman, within the night, came up to the bridge and set fire the wooden scaffolding supporting the stone. And everybody thought that this fire was an accident. It was a terrible accident. So the architect rebuilt again the bridge, now with the good calculations. And that's how this brave woman saved the reputation of her husband and avoided the tragedy.
Wow.
Okay, that's the legend of St. Martin Bridge. That it is true, it was rebuilt in the second half of the 14th century. Yeah, and well, you remember we saw a bridge, this one here first, because the train station is more or less here, okay? And with the train station, we saw sister cities in the wall.
Oh, really?
In the whole wall in 1941.
Wait, Ohio?
Yep.
Yes, Ohio. Yeah, like when this were like the TV. Just watching the people and the neighbors and some doctors and the voice is a Gothic decoration from the 15th century. Some others, well, this one is same from the 15th century. Some other from the 16th century. Now we're going to see the one of the post office from the 16th century, Ramson's, completely different. But this church stopped being a church in the 19th century because the people from here moved to another church that is bigger. Now we're going to see it. And in the 19th century, the building became a museum. And then this, well, actually like 20 years ago, the building became a cafeteria. And also in the morning we have like an exhibition room where we can see exhibitions of local artists. And at night is a disco. So it comes from church to disco. Actually, I think we can just take a look from the entrance. You will see what a nice view. You know, all these houses outside the road were built up on a Roman water system. I told you there was a huge Roman aqueduct that conveyed the water. That conveyed the water up to the city, and then this water was kept in a big water cisterns built by the Romans in the 1st century. And these houses here were built up on a water system. So let's say these water systems are the foundations of all of these buildings you can see around.
What the street used to look like.
Yeah, but the lot of people don't like it much. So because it's very inconvenient for walking. Imagine with a family pushing a stroller and there are people with a stick. So we still conserve some streets like these ones because you know the whole city of Toledo was declared a World Heritage by the UNESCO in 1986, and the UNESCO don't want us to remove the cobblestones. But the local people don't like it, so we need to get the balance in between. I think I need your help because I'm lost. So could you tell me where we are? Thank you. But this is the main, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, we are here. So probably you remember we came from this square. We were in here and we've been walking all around up to this little church. We are visitors. I remember this. It was to El Greco's wife. But actually, well, you know, El Greco was the painter, the artist, who came from Greece in the 16th century. But actually, we know that El Greco never ever got married. But 1 year after El Greco arrived in the city from Rome, El Greco had a boy, had a baby in here. And we know that the mother of El Greco's son lived here in this house. But we don't know what happened with this lady. Some people think that probably she died in a childbirth, or she became a nun because her family didn't approve, you know, a marriage with a foreigner as El Greco. So we know nothing about a law to pull down all the covered streets that were not high enough to let Knight ride his horse with a spear with a vertical position. And we are in the Jewish quarter. We're going to find some symbols like the Star of David with the menorah, the candlestick. And we're going to find these little times repeated time and again along the Jewish quarter, only to indicate us the perimeter of former Jewish area. So we're going to find the menorah in the center, to the right, where we can read in Hebrew Chai. Chai means life. And also, you know, in Hebrew we can convert the characters into numbers. So this tile, the one on the right side, means also the number 18. And the number 18 is like a lucky number for the Jewish people. So in case it's your birthday and I want to give you some money, I have to give you $18 or 36 or...
I know. That was the idea.
You know, the symbol of the city, the double-headed eagle that we can see even in the dustbin. It's in every number. For instance, number 30, number 50, 32.
That's the Habsburg town, right?
Well, why the Habsburgs are in Spain, or were in Spain? But the daughter of Isabella and Ferdinand, Juana, got married with Philip the Handsome. And Philip the Handsome was the son of Maximilian of Austria, the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. So when Philip and Juana got married, that's the arrival of the Habsburg dynasty in Spain. And the son of Juana and Philip the Handsome was Carlos, and Carlos became also the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire as his grandfather, Maximilian of Austria. And Carlos was the one who gave the symbol of his family, the double-headed eagle, to the city, to Toledo. Very nice view of the monastery, the one we saw from the bus. I told you that was built by Isabella and Ferdinand. We saw this morning from the other side of the green that I told you was built by Isabel and Ferdinand because they wanted to actually to be buried. Now we're walking down up to the monastery and we can see it just from the road.
Like camouflage.
Car.
I want to watch it go down. Can I watch it?
When Isabel and Ferdinand will conquer the kingdom of Granada in the south of Spain. So these prisoners brought the chains from Granada to here, and they put the chains into the wall to symbolize the victory and the freedom of the Christians over the Muslims. So, and let me tell you that originally there were many more chains. All of this wall was completely covered with a chain. But the French army of Napoleon in the 19th century took many chains away to be melted down to make cannons and cannonballs and this sort of thing. So nowadays we only conserve just a few number of chains, but not all the chains. Cars cannot get it.
Good, good.
You can see how all the buildings in the city were built by using the stones and the bricks. The stones was the material used by the Christians, and the bricks were this fusion, this combination of the both traditions, the Christian and the Muslim, wherever. No matter if we were in the Jewish quarter or in the Christian area or the Muslim area. Where the women should be in the upper, in this upper gallery. With his spear and his horse. That's crazy. You need a coffee from that. Se lo pone a comer aquí.
We're going to try each one.
We're going to try every one.
No, we're going to try a little and then we're going to see if you have a favorite.
Pues mire, señorita, queríamos dos pequeñas y esta tendrá dos y una para regalo.
This one here to the right is the only one that inside has like an egg cream. This one with a little marmalade, and these ones are just the the pure marzipan. So the almond, the sugar, and honey.
So this one's just the pure marzipan. I think this is.
How do you
We get to cut it.
This one, we call this one cheese, a little cheese. Bells. And one of the bells is the third largest in the European continent.
Wow.
You know, the biggest one is in Russia, in the Kremlin Palace. The second largest is in Germany, in Cologne. And the third one is the one here. But the one here doesn't work. It was used only once, in the year 1755, December the 9th, when the bell rang the gong, all the glasses that were on the windows, shattered in pieces were broken. And the most amazing was that the bell itself cracks. So the bell is still in the tower, but doesn't work. Only one day, 1755, the first and the last. Okay, we're moving a little bit forward, and then I will show you absolutely everything. Let me tell you first, this huge building was begun in the year 1226 to the east, and finished in 1493 by the west. So 266 years later. Almost 300 years to finish the whole building, from 13th, 14th to 15th century.
Wow.
And you can see the building, pure Gothic. So you can see the French influence, because the first architect of this cathedral was one of the architects of Notre Dame in Paris. That's where we can see this French influence in the whole building. It is of course that the last architect came also from France, from Paris. So the first and the last architect from France, and in between there were a lot of Spanish architects. And I want to show you first, I remember we couldn't see the big rose window above the main entrance of the church, because I told you it was covered in the 18th century. But from here we can see it. We can see it in there. So remember I told you there are like two colors. Now we go to that corner to see this treasury.
Wow.
So he saw so many beautiful things, and he got busy, sick.
So this is the monstrance. We can see the word in here, the cathedral's monstrance. That is something we use once a year when we celebrated the Corpus Christi Day, and when we put in the center of the monstrance on the side of the center, we put the Eucharist, the Holy Wafer, that represents Jesus Christ. Let's say that this huge stone made of gold and silver is composed of three different periods in the 18th century. So 15th, 16th, 18th century, different periods. And apart from the gold and silver, we can see a lot of different kind of precious gems, and like diamonds, emeralds. Now I'm going to show you a little chapel here, where it is said a miracle happened. The Virgin Mary came down from heaven. Mary, as a thanksgiving, came down from heaven with a lot of angels and with a cape that had been embroidered by the angels to invest the bishop with this cape. And that's what we can see here. The bishop is to the right, he's down, and the Virgin Mary is on the left side, and the angels over the bishop to here for touching the stone where the Virgin Mary put her feet. And we can do it from this side. Yes, I can see right. Now you got superpower. Wow. Listen, now we're going inside this room in the center, and you will see the big pipe organ from the other side.
Oh.
You see it very well today, because it's a little bit dark. But she's smiling. Okay. This Virgin Mary that was made at the very beginning of the 14th century is the only one in Spain. The only one in the whole country smiling. Why? Because it was made in France. Now, the canons of the cathedral, when they were in the services in the choir, they couldn't sit down. They should be standing up for hours, dressed with the heavy capes, you know, holding the books of the music. Most of these canons were elder people, so they were exhausted, but they couldn't sit down. So now the chairs are folded. We have to fold down this chair for sitting. So they invented something. These little carvings here, where they, lean on, and they look like they're standing up, but actually they were having a little rest. This can't be easy here, because you remember the monster we saw in the first one. It's going to be taken out during this week, and it's going to be put in here for the celebration of the Corpus Christi. So during the rest of the year, the canopy is not in there. So we can see the altar piece behind. The wooden altar piece behind was made of gold leaf wood. So it's wood over with gold leaf, and also painted. But Jesus Christ, on top of this decoration, is more than 3.5 meters. So it's double than me. So I am like one of the legs of Jesus Christ. So, but from here, doesn't look so big, so tall, because this nave, the central one, is 32 meters high. So that's why we have to make these carvings bigger and bigger and bigger, just to keep the perspective, the proportions of these carvings are look at this beautiful fresco. It was painted by an Italian painter who came from Naples in the 17th century. very, very fast, a very quick painter. He took only.
Oh, is this the guy who painted with 2 hands?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Luca Giordano, the Italian painter. People said he could use both hands at the same time. That's why he did it so quickly. I don't think so. Open window. So if you find a window, and you find an open window, probably you will find a painter. Okay, because he was painting himself. So we need to look for all the windows up to the one is open. Okay. I think we'd better move forward, and you will see it wearing an armor. This is an armor from the 16th century, and actually we can see a white cloth around the neck that tells us that this soldier was a Spanish soldier from the 16th century. So how can we see Spanish? So the church, because there was a problem in here. It was a quite dark place. So in the 18th century, one person, one architect, pulled down the ceiling there. That it was like to create this place, to illuminate the background. All of this work was made alone.